Good morning, Claire here in the Pacific Northwest Puget Sound area, Grow Zone 8B. We've got kind of a windy morning here today. It feels like there's trying to be some like sprinkles or showers or something being blown in here. It's pretty cloudy, even though the sunshine's still going. I'm gonna hold on to that. We have about 20 more days before we get hit with fall, official fall, even if I have my Halloween decorations out already. And we're getting a little preview of what it's going to be like during the fall winter months. We've had about 4 days of consistent drizzliness. The last couple of days have been sunshiny, so I'm just really holding on to those last little bits of summer that I can get. But this week I want to invite you to have a peek at some of my projects and adventures that I've had. It's included a lot of canning because, as you know, I got a lot of produce last week. So I'm going to show you what I've been doing with that, and this morning I have some final canning things that I'm going to be taking care of today. So I'll show you a little bit of that as well as what is going on in the garden. So join me as we F around and find out what's going on in the garden and the kitchen today. Here is a mega quick look into the front garden. The sunflowers have grown about 3 to 4 inches, and everything is putting on new leaves. Even the littler plants here, they're still getting bigger every day. There's our lettuces. Oops, there's some garbage, better get that. And everything else is still popping up. I did none of what I said I was going to do as far as weeding this week. I'm still just kind of watching to see what happens out here, but everything is popping up. Oh, spider! I walked into one of those on my way outside. They're everywhere. It's that season right now. Here are the zinnias, and they're doing pretty well, but something keeps digging up like around them, so I'm not really sure what that is, but I'm hoping that they can survive. I'm not thinking these watermelons are gonna take off and anything will happen before the end of fall, but you know, that's why we're effing around, just to see what happens. The pumpkins are doing okay. They're turning a little yellow, so I need to probably Google about that. The beans are popping up. Our peas are doing well. That, I'm not sure what that is. I'm gonna leave it. It might have been an accidental seed. I have some little baby carrots coming up right here, and I planted some onions over here as well, so I'm not sure how those exactly are doing, but something is popping up in the spot that I put them in. I forgot to show you guys this pumpkin plant that I had already bought, and I put it in this pot just to see. Here's where I put the kohlrabi. So I've got grass coming up, but there's kohlrabi and some of the herbs that I planted are popping up, as well as my hollyhocks are sprouting all these like luscious leaves at the bottom. I'm not really sure what's up with that, but maybe we'll get a few more stalks before the end of the year. I'm not sure. I put some, what was there? I think more kohlrabi. And then again, here's my other hollyhocks doing the same thing. Here are the beets that I planted, and they are really taking off. They're doing really well. I cannot wait. Oh, those weren't beets. Sorry, radishes. And then here's the mystery bed with all these little things coming up that I certainly did not plant, but I'm just interested, as well as more radishes in the back. Let's hop on over to the kitchen. I will show you my space where I show you what I did with these plums and apples from the gleaning last week. And on today's episode of Working in the Smallest Kitchen in America, this, where I'm standing, is pretty much it when it comes to my kitchen. I have this very small, inconvenient corner counter space, which I do 99% of my cooking, as well as my sink, which is full of dishes, real American kitchen, like I said. And then I have about 4 feet of counter space this direction, which is just really where I do my chopping, or if I have an appliance I have to pull out of a closet to use, it goes right here. And today I have my cookbook. So I'm using this ball
canning complete home preserves book. And I have the newer version, but I like this one because it has a lot of preserves recipes in it, which I like because I don't always like to use pectin. I feel like you have to use a ton more sugar when you are working with pectin. So for me, it seems healthier. Preserve seems like a healthier alternative and a lot less work. So this recipe today is going to call for 5 cups of plums, which I think I have that covered. This is some of the plums that I got from doing the gleaning last week, and I've already pitted them. They've been in my fridge. I need to get them canned. I need this container for something else because I have 2 Tupperware containers that I have available for my use. This one needs to be emptied. And then you use 4 cups of sugar and 1 cup of water.
I'm not going to show you guys step by step what I did. This is just at the point where I've already brought this to a hard boil several times and added the sugar and the water, and I'm just letting it cook down a little bit before it gets put into the jars. This made about 3.5 pints of preserves. I also made with the plums and the apples a plum apple butter, which was so good. That made 4 pints. I still currently have about 10 cups of plums that I need to cook really, really bad. It's kind of an emergency at this point, so I'll probably be doing that till midnight tonight. The baby cracking me up with her happy food faces, enjoying a PB&J with our plum preserves.
So good. Oh goodness, baby. That's so good.
We got a visit from our neighbor's fat kitty before our cat noticed and had something to say about it. But we love getting loves from all the neighbor kitties. This morning, one final task for this week, we are going to process these apples into applesauce and attempt to make some apple cider vinegar. I have to share with you guys this gadget. I made some apple pie filling a few weeks ago, and it took like 3 hours, it felt like, to core and peel all the apples. So I went out and spent $35 on this thing, and I've got to tell you, this is the best invention freaking ever. There is nothing more satisfying than one long continuous strip of apple peeling, and then it pops the little core out, and then wait till you see this. It's literally like an apple slinky. It's so cute. Just put some apples in a pot with some water to let them cook down. This is going to be for the applesauce. The recipe that I was using told me to cook it, let it boil a little bit, and then to take it out and churn it up in a food meal. But fortunately, I did not have to do that because this is what it cooked down to. It's just going to be a little bit chunky applesauce, but it was perfect. And I put the sugar, and I'm going to add some cinnamon and some pumpkin pie spice because that just kicks everything up like about 500 notches of deliciousness. So I'm going to let that cook down a little bit. While these process in the water bath, I am going to show you my attempt at making some apple cider vinegar with the cores and the peels that I just made. So I'm putting sugar into hot, not exactly hot water. It is kind of hot, but it's on the warm side. And I am going to add that into these half-gallon jars of the apple peels and the cores so that it will be able to sit in there, and the sugar and the water will help to ferment the cores and the peels. And you'll see in a second, this became like the messiest project in the world. I should have named this segment Smooth Move X-Lax because literally I pour water all over the freaking counter. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'm going to do that to the other jar, which, as you will see, more water ends up on the counter than in the jar, I think. But it's funny because I was planning on trying this because I had seen somebody on YouTube do it, but they didn't get really instructive with it. But then yesterday, I saw an Instagram reel where a girl was making this with her kids. And it was just really straightforward and simple. And I thought, you know, what the heck? I can totally do that. And here we are. And it's going to ferment. It's going to take a couple of weeks. Either it works out or it doesn't. Like the name of this channel, we're going to F around and find out. Then I'm going to cover the tops with coffee filters. You can use cheesecloth, which I did not have, or you can use this. I also couldn't find rubber bands, so we're just going to use a string. This is what I was able to create this week. Thanks for joining us this week as we developed some more canning mussels. And also, I can't wait to see how this fermentation comes out. So come back and join us next week. I'll give you an update on that, as well as some garden projects that we are planning to do. My son particularly has a garden experiment up his sleeve, so we are excited to share that with you next week. I hope you have an excellent week. Feel free to like and subscribe, and of course, if you've ever done anything like this, feel free to leave us a comment on how it went for you and anything you would suggest to make it a more successful experiment.